Hello and welcome to Radiance Revealed, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jen Haley. I'm a board-certified dermatologist, fitness enthusiast, nutrition expert, and global explorer that over the years has uncovered that your skin is a true representation of your internal health. Each week, we will chat with leading health, wellness, and even spiritual experts who will reveal secrets to true health and vitality. My goal is to help you change small habits to give you the power to create a more balanced, aligned, and elevated version of yourself. Now let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Radiance Revealed podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jen Haley. I've been a board-certified dermatologist for 21 years, and I was on Threads. I was on Threads the other day, and on Threads, somebody was saying they were 39 or 41, and they had never used skincare. And I know a good friend of mine who also is a very well-known biohacker whose biological age is younger than her chronological age by a lot, and she has never used skincare. So, a couple things I want to discuss today because I feel like we get in the weeds a lot on here. I go into the science, I dive deep into specifics, and I don't always cover the basics. So, having these two interactions made me realize how important it is to cover the basics of a skincare routine, and also the basics of why what you do inside your body and taking care of the inside of your body is going to matter a lot more than skincare. So basically some science. So we have our blood vessels. Our blood vessels deliver the oxygen and the nutrients to all of the cells in our body. So our heart pumps, right, in the center of our chest. And as the heart pumps, bam, all of the blood starts flowing in the arteries and gets delivered to your kidneys, your brain, your skin, all of your organs, every single organ. The further it is from the heart, basically the less oxygen it gets, the less nutrients it gets. So the first place we usually see poor blood flow is the lower legs. It's the slowest area to heal. So if I remove a skin cancer from the face, it heals very quickly because it's close to the heart. If I remove a skin cancer from the lower legs, we're looking healing time from 7 to 10 days to like a month. It takes a lot longer to heal because by the time the oxygen gets there and all the nutrients get there, there is very little left. It's been taken up by most of the rest of the cells. So why am I saying this? I'm talking about this because the blood flow from the inside out determines the nutrient delivery and the oxygen delivery to your skin. And the skin, it has multiple layers. So there's the epidermis, which is the top layer of your skin. And there's the stratum corneum, which we're looking at right now. That's the dead skin cell layer because you wipe your skin, dead skin cells come off. There's no nuclei on there. There's no genetic makeup there. It's basically a protective barrier. It's a bunch of layers that are protecting your skin from the outside ailments, from germs, from disease, from pollution, from chemicals in the environment, and keeping all of our electrolytes inside of our body and keeping our body healthy on the inside and keeping all the good stuff in, protecting us from the bad stuff on the outside. So the blood flow to the skin goes into the dermis, which is underneath the epidermis. So the epidermis has no blood flow. The blood flow goes all the way up into the dermis and stops at the DE junction, the dermo-epidermal junction. It's basically the junction, the meeting point of the epidermis to the dermis. And the reason I'm saying this is because if you want your skin to look good everywhere, you need to pay attention to what kind of chemicals you're exposing your body to, primarily in your diet through nutrition, and how healthy your blood flow is. So there's two main factors. How healthy is the blood flow? Do you have a lot of clogged arteries? If you do, you're not going to have healthy skin or any other healthy organ. Okay, so all the lifestyle factors that contribute to healthy blood flow are essential in order to have good blood flow to your skin and good nutrient and oxygen delivery. And factor two is, what are the nutrients you're putting in your body? Are you putting in plastic from plastic water bottles? Do you have arsenic in your well water? Do you have processed garbagey food with a lot of chemicals and preservatives? Or are you eating regenerative meat, organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised stuff, whole foods? Are you having whole food diet? Are you choosing a banana or a candy bar? That's going to determine what kind of nutrients are getting delivered to your skin from the inside out. So if you want healthy skin everywhere, it's not so much about putting creams everywhere, because that, let's be honest here, that can actually contribute to chemical load in your body. So I really don't really want people to depend on topical skincare. Topical skincare is a bonus to your lifestyle. Why is it necessary? Why is topical skincare necessary? Topical skincare is necessary because the blood flow stops in the dermis. So our epidermis is not getting any blood flow. It's not getting the nutrients and the oxygen from the inside of our body. So we look at our topical skincare as delivering nutrition, as nutrients from the outside in. And what determines what type of skincare we use? We want to work with the harmony of nature. So let's take a look at nature. How does nature change and how do we work with it? Simplest skincare, foundational skincare that I like for every single person throughout the year is going to be a gentle cleanser in the morning and a cleanser in the evening. We want a cleanser in the morning to remove any metabolic waste products, any toxins that were removed from the pores overnight when our body was renewing and repairing itself, because that's what our body does at night. We want to cleanse at the end of the day to remove any environmental toxins, debris, makeup, dirt, sweat off of our face. So the cleanser you use should probably be the least expensive part of your regimen. You basically want to find something that isn't harsh and damaging to your skin. Avoid the word soap. Soap is usually alkaline, and our skin is acidic. And anything alkaline is going to destroy the skin barrier and harm the skin barrier and only make you need more moisturizing rather than working with your normal, natural moisturizing factor in your skin. So gentle cleanser morning and night. Your skin should feel cleansed, but it shouldn't feel tight or taut. It shouldn't burn, and it shouldn't feel dry. Okay. When you're applying your cleanser, typically I like a creamy cleanser, a liquid cleanser. Apply to your face, your neck, your chest. Massage it in for 60 to 90 seconds. Allow it to do its job and massage the lymphatics to stimulate lymphatic flow to and from the area, because that's going to help everything work better. After cleansing in the morning, apply a vitamin C product. Vitamin C is an antioxidant. We are working with our circadian clock. As soon as the lights get turned on, i.e., sunlight, as soon as our photoreceptors in our skin, the photoreceptors in our eyes see sunlight or any light, our body circadian clock is in protective mode. Our skin is now in protective mode. So applying antioxidants topically to the skin is going to support the protective mode of the skin. So vitamin C with E and ferulic acid is going to be your best formulation. Most vitamin Cs have ascorbic acid in them, and L-ascorbic acid is the active form of vitamin C. But what happens is vitamin C in the L-ascorbic form is very volatile. It's very unstable. So as soon as it's exposed to light, oxygen, or heat, it becomes inactivated. And you can notice in your bottle, if it's a liquid, it will go from clear to brown by the end of the month, usually orange in between, because it's getting oxidized. We want it to do that on your skin to protect you from reactive oxygen species and work as an antioxidant, but we don't want it doing that in the bottle. So there's other forms of more stable vitamin C you could look for in the formulation. There's THD ascorbate, and there's magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, and there's sodium ascorbyl phosphate. I really like sodium ascorbyl phosphate if someone is prone to acne or rosacea. So you read the label just like you would read a nutrition label and look for one of those forms: THD ascorbate, sodium ascorbyl phosphate, magnesium ascorbyl phosphate. And they convert to the active form of L-ascorbic acid in the body, in the skin. If the formulation has vitamin E and ferulic acid in it, it's just going to boost its efficacy. Try to look for a formulation that has about 10 to 15% vitamin C. But these are the ingredients you want to look for. You apply it to your face, neck, chest, whatever's on your palms, sweep the back of your hands. That's what you apply. Cleanse, vitamin C. If you feel that you need a moisturizer, apply a moisturizer. A light moisturizer will benefit most people every morning. The moisturizer also forms a protective barrier from particulate matter pollution. So if you live somewhere sunny, like I do in Arizona or California, there is a lot of UV radiation. So that's what our sunscreen is going to protect us from. Our vitamin C is going to help with that. If you live somewhere like New York City, you may not be getting as much UV radiation, but you're getting a lot of particulate matter. So we really want to help prevent that particulate matter from breaking down your skin by protecting your skin from the outside in. So moisturizer, I tend to be a little oily, even at this age, and I will put moisturizer on the periphery, on my neck and my chest, and I just won't go in my T-zone. So you don't need to treat all areas of your face the same if the skin is different in those areas. And then last step, cleanse, vitamin C, plus or minus a moisturizer. Last step is always, always, always going to be your SPF 30 plus containing zinc oxide. And one thing that I've noticed people do over the years is they apply a little bit, like the size of a dime or even the size of a quarter. That's not going to be enough for the whole area. And they blend it outwards and they miss the periphery of the face and the neck and the chest. You can look online and you can see photos of people over the years that have skipped sunscreen to certain areas of the face, and the face ages very differently, or the neck ages very differently from the face if you leave it out. So while you're in your bra, you apply your sunscreen. So the areas that peek out of your clothing are protected from incidental radiation throughout the day, because the compound effect, whether you're dealing with money or skin or your weight, plays a huge difference over time. So if you save $1 a day starting age 10, you're going to have hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time you're age 60, right? If you eat one extra cookie a day, or a half a cookie for 150 calories a day, that's going to be an extra 15 pounds in a year on your weight, on your body. If you don't wear sunscreen and you get 10 minutes of sun exposure, everyone gets 10 minutes of sun exposure through the windows, walking to the mailbox, going to and from the car to the building. That adds up to 50 plus hours a year of getting sun to the exposed areas. Now, I don't know a single person in the world who would lay in the sun at the beach for 50 hours and not protect themselves from sun. So this is what happens over time. Small little things make a big difference. So going back to the basics, cleanse, vitamin C, now you know what to look for, moisturizer, then sunscreen. You can find a sunscreen that has a moisturizer in it, and then you only need 3 steps. So you put your sunscreen on, make sure you put it on the outside, put it on your neck, and blend it inwards so you get full coverage and you don't miss the periphery of your face. If you're someone who is prone to pigmentation, like brown spots, melasma, any sort of discoloration, then look for a tinted sunscreen. A tinted sunscreen that contains zinc oxide that's an SPF 30 or higher are the guidelines. Because tinted sunscreens that contain iron oxide, pigmented iron oxide, will help prevent darkening of the melanocytes, the pigment cells in your skin, from exposure to blue light, like we're getting from the computer screen or overhead light and the phones and all the other things, because we know that blue light can contribute to, and other visible light can contribute to pigmentation. So that's why I prefer the tinted sunscreens. Plus, I'm a little lazy. I don't really wear that much makeup. So all I have on right now is tinted sunscreen and a little blush. And it works as a duplicate for makeup. Now, if you're someone who does like to use your face as a palette and wear a lot of makeup, you apply your makeup after your sunscreen dries. So wait for your sunscreen to dry, and then you can apply your makeup over that. And that's it for the morning. So we're working with our body protecting from all the environmental toxins and assaults during the day. At night, after cleansing, retinol is going to be your friend. So retinol is a vitamin A derivative that helps unplug pores. So it's great for acne. It's great for making pores appear smaller, because if they're not filled with dead skin cells and oil, they will appear smaller. It's great for lifting off pigmentation and helping with discoloration of the skin. It's great for helping reverse sun damage, and it's great for fine lines and wrinkles. It's the most scientifically studied ingredient in skincare. So retinol is recommended by every dermatologist. Can you use retinol in the summer? Absolutely. I've lived in very sunny places. I've lived in Hawaii. I've lived in California. I lived in Arizona. I've lived in the Rocky Mountains. All of those places, if I told people not to use retinol because of the summer months or the sun, they'd never use it. So you should be protecting yourself from the sun anyway to these high real estate areas of your face and your neck and your chest with a hat when you're outside regularly and sunscreen that we discussed. So yes, I do want people to use retinol and not stop retinol as long as their skin is not irritated by retinol. But just say you are new with retinol. You've never used it before. And you're really excited and you're wanting to jump into this skincare. So you want to use a lot of it and you want to use it everywhere and you want to use it every night. If you do that, by day 6 to 10, your face is going to be peeling. Your skin's going to look dry, burnt, and disastrous. So don't do that. Okay? Start low and go slow. So with retinol, wish I had a demo. Okay, so with retinol, take a pea-sized amount. Put it the size of a pea, the size of a pearl. Dot your forehead, dot your cheek, dot your other cheek, dot your chin. If you're on YouTube, you could see me. And dot the center of your chest. Rub it in. You're going to think, oh, I didn't get complete coverage. I need more. Nope, you don't need any more. You just need the pea, you need the pearl. It works through cell signals. It works by signaling receptors in the nucleus of the cell. It's not complete full coverage. It's not like a moisturizer where you're trying to fill in and hydrate everything. You're just applying a little bit to send the signal to the cell to enhance cell turnover, stimulate collagen formation, and all the other things that this vitamin A does in the skin. You only want to do it 2 or 3 times a week when you first start. Okay? I know we live in an impatient society. I know you're going to want to start it sooner. You'd start more than that. But if you do, you will regret it, and then you will quit, and then you will be mad. Okay, so don't do it. 21 years doing this, 25 if you count training. So don't do it that way. Twice a week for 2 weeks. Okay, I don't see any improvement, but I'm not irritated. Go to 3 times a week for another 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, you can go up 1 extra night. And if you start noticing irritation, hold or back off. So I've been using it for 20-something years. I still can't use it every single night. But as long as you're using it 3 to 4 times a week, you're going to see benefits. Now, a lot of it depends on the formulation. If it's a weaker form of retinol, you're going to be more likely to be able to tolerate it every single night than if you're using a prescription strength tretinoin. So I always recommend you go and get something over the counter. You could get something even at Walgreens to start with, like ROC. They have a nice light retinol. There's plenty of light retinols. And if you're able to tolerate it every single night, then go to something that's more medical grade able to tolerate that every single night, then go to a prescription strength from your dermatologist. You don't want to be using it when you're pregnant because it affects cell turnover. So theoretically, it can be absorbed, especially as prescription strength, and we don't recommend it during pregnancy. So, but you do want to do it only 2 to 3 times a week. Less is more. Now, if you're someone who has sensitive skin, what I recommend is you apply moisturizer and you do a sandwich technique. You cleanse your face at night, you apply moisturizer, a ceramide hyaluronic acid based moisturizer, then you apply your retinol, let it dry, then you apply another layer of moisturizer. So I like people to find a moisturizer that they could also use around their eyes and their neck. If you're someone who likes to have a lot of products, you can get an eye cream, a moisturizer, and a neck cream. Once again, I'm a minimalist. I like to find products that can cover all of those areas. Just remember to treat all of the areas. Make sure if you use something around your eyes, it's safe for around your eyes. So we're not putting it in your eyeball, you're putting it to the skin around your eyes, skin around your neck. There are specific creams made for those areas. I prefer one that works for all of those areas if you can find it. Um, when you're looking for skincare, you want to look for less ingredients, the better. Just the less ingredients, the better. The less chemicals, the better. You are always going to need preservatives. You should not be able to eat your skincare. That's ridiculous. If you could eat your skincare, it's going to develop mold and other sort of, you know, gross stuff growing in there in a week or two. So those trends have come and gone. So at night, as I mentioned, we're in our renewal and regeneration phase. So that's why we want to use our retinols. That's when we want to hydrate. At night, our skin really needs to pack on the hydration. So those women in the 1950s with the Pond's cold cream on their face, they kind of had it right because it's a great time to rehydrate your skin. So morning we discussed, night cleanse, retinol, moisturizer. And you're only using the retinol 2 to 3 times a week to start, you're slowly increasing to every night. If you can find a liposomal retinol, I like liposomal retinol because it can pass by the epidermis without causing that irritation. So that's a nice formulation as well. A lot of this is in the formulation, but just because you're spending a lot more money on skincare doesn't mean it's going to be more effective. Really cheap skincare usually doesn't have a lot of actives in it, and it's not going to give you the best results. But then you hit a certain threshold of sort of the medium range skincare, and you can get pretty good results compared to the very expensive skincare. It's not like you pay more and you get better results. There's a certain point where I think that you spend enough, you look for the active ingredients that I mentioned, you're tolerating them well, they feel okay on your skin, you're seeing results at 3 months. Every single thing you do to your skin, you need to give it 3 months to see results. It takes 3 months for collagen to form. If you're trying to stimulate collagen with retinol, it takes about 8 to 12 weeks to see improvement of acne. So when I have a patient with acne come in the office, I grab their skin, like if you could see me on YouTube, I grab the skin and I say, deep in these skin layers, there are pimples that have already formed. We can't see them on the surface. They have to surface up to the top layer of the skin. So that's why we never, ever spot treat with acne medications. Because the reason to treat acne is to prevent the next cycle of skin from coming in with acne. So there's already pimples underneath the skin that have formed, and we want them to surface, to purge, whatever word you want to use. And once they resurface, then we want the next layer to be clear. So all of the acne treatments are targeted to treat the next layer of skin to be clear. So if you are someone that struggles with acne, you would cleanse maybe with a salicylic acid cleanser, apply your vitamin C, maybe apply a targeted acne treatment, then plus or minus your moisturizer and your sunscreen. And then at night, it would be the same. And if you have very oily skin and you're tolerating retinol, I sometimes will have people use an AHA, BHA exfoliant once or twice a week. How do you know if you need an exfoliant? So There's a lot of nuances here, and sometimes you need to see a dermatologist to really know. But basically, if you feel like your skin is dry, but it's not irritated or red, it just feels like it's dry, and you're putting a lot of moisturizer on your skin, but it's not getting hydrated, you may need to exfoliate. So what happens is the dead skin cells, those stratum corneum, the corneocytes, the dead skin cells on the top layer of the epidermis, they sometimes don't slough off, especially as we get older. Our skin doesn't turn over as quickly. So to get from the bottom layer of the skin to the top layer of the skin, it might have taken 28 days when you were in your 20s. And now when you're in your 40s or 50s, it's taking 8 to 12 weeks to turn over. So the dead skin cells aren't coming off. And what's happening is they're insulating the skin and it can't absorb moisturizer. So instead of just keep putting moisturizer on more and more and more, and it's not getting absorbed, you actually need to exfoliate with an alpha hydroxy acid or a beta hydroxy acid to get those dead skin cell layers off to remove that insulation so that the moisturizer can actually penetrate. So that's how you know you may need to exfoliate. If you have a lot of blackheads, and your pores are expanded because there is oil and dead skin cells trapped in there, I might add an exfoliant for someone. Now, how do you know you're exfoliating too much? You're exfoliating too much because, ironically, your skin will actually get parched looking and it will burn and it will feel irritated, almost like you've had a little bit of a burn. So that's how you kind of intuitively know when you need to moisturize more or less. And when the seasons change, we want to take a look at our skincare. So, just like I said, to be patient and give a new skincare regimen about 12 weeks to work, that's the seasonal changes. So, it's a great time to look at your skincare and adjust it with the seasons. So, at the end of the summer, that's typically when I'll add in a pigmentation or lightening serum because we have extra brown spots from the summer. So after the vitamin C in the morning, you can add in a lightening serum with kojic acid, arbutin, licorice extract. There's so many beautiful ingredients for skin lightening. And you can add that in as your next step before your sunscreen. Always your sunscreen. Always, always your sunscreen is your last step. And then you can also do it at night after your retinol, add in the pigment serum at the end of the summer. In the fall, at the end of the fall, you will often notice your skin becoming more dry, and I'll have people add in more moisturizer. So if they're a once a day moisturizer at night, we'll add in moisturizer during the day. If they notice that they're still dry with their typical moisturizer and they're not prone to acne, we can add more of an oil-based moisturizer, especially at night. If someone is prone to acne and they're still dry with their moisturizer and they don't want to switch to an oil-based moisturizer, I will have them do a booster with hyaluronic acid, where I'll have you or them, I'll have someone spray mineral water like La Roche-Posay or Vichy or Ven, make some beautiful mineral water sprays, and these have postbiotics in them, which help the skin microbiome. And then as the skin is still dewy, we apply hyaluronic acid to lock in that moisturizer and then put the moisturizer over it. Or sometimes I'll take a couple pumps of hyaluronic acid, add the moisturizer, mix it all up, and seal it all in at night, last step before bed. And that is a way to boost your moisturizer. That's a little tip and trick that I use to boost moisturizer. Now, at the end of winter, because, our skin is just kind of slowed down, it's turnover, it's been dry, that's when people want to exfoliate more. heading into the springtime. So we'll boost exfoliation at that time, and the skin can usually tolerate it as the heat gets turned off in the house and the humidity drops or the humidity increases again. Then the skin usually tolerates a little bit more exfoliation about twice a week. So there's different things that we can do with each season as well. But basically, if you're starting a skincare regimen, you don't need 9 steps, you don't need 10 steps. The biggest mistakes I see people make are using too many products and switching products too quickly and applying too much of a product. So a little bit goes a long way. The other thing, I want you to apply face, neck, chest, back of the hands, treat them as one unit because those areas are chronically exposed to the environmental ailments, and they will show wear and tear over time if you don't nourish them from the outside in. So I hope this was a good primer. Keep sending me questions and things where I might have gaps or not giving you adequate information because you know that I'm here for you and I want to educate you on how to take care of yourself from the comfort of your own home and know when to seek a board certified dermatologist and when to trust your intuition and your body. Okay, thanks everyone. Oh, also, if you like this, please share it with a friend, hit that subscribe button, and rate and review the podcast so I'm motivated to keep doing it. Until next week, bye-bye.
If you're enjoying the Radiance Revealed podcast, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always know when there's a new episode. And while you're at it, please give us a review, as that helps others to find this podcast. And if you want to connect with me, please visit my website, drjenhaley.com, or you can find me on Instagram at drjenhaley.
Hello, everyone. Just a friendly reminder that this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. The statements and views expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility made for statements made by guests. Neither this podcast nor any of the information contained within it are a substitute for care by a qualified medical professional. This podcast is provided with the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you are looking for help in your journey, please seek out a qualified medical practitioner.